Basic Golf Swing, Matthew, and Dan in the house.
Hello everybody.
Coach Lockie on camera.
Hello,
as well.
hello.
Coach. Basic Golf Swing. I taught for years so many beginner golfers, and to be honest with you, I love teaching beginner golfers. Do you know why?
Because they see improvement quickly.
The improvements, you get such job satisfaction.
Yeah.
People used to say, why don't you teach them on tour pros and stuff? They're hard work. Like, you don't see improvements in them. It's minuscule, but a beginner goes from hitting it like that in one lesson to hitting a shot where the ball pops in the air and goes in a general direction, and you see the smile on their face. You just think, well, there's no better lesson than that.
Winning.
That person is now like found a new skill and love.
Yeah.
Beginner, golf, basic swing movements. This should be fun. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, you should consider subscribing. There'll be plenty more golf tips, and I've got loads in my back catalogue. If you've been here loads before, hello again. Make sure you ring that bell if you're already a subscriber. In the comment section, let me know if this helps you. It's a basic idea of a golf swing. It won't take the place of one-to-one lessons, but it might give you some good questions to go and ask your coach next time you go for a lesson. Back to the video. I hope this helps. So I'm going to just go through my pattern that I used to do when I taught in London for years, and down here in Devon before I came back, just beginners constantly. I loved it. I would go, I wouldn't spend hours telling them how to grip, stand, hold and swing, because as I did more and more people, you would notice that some don't take any of it on, they just hit it. Some take 2% on or 4%. No one ever got it all.
Yeah.
So I thought, why waste my time giving a big long patter? So this is what I used to do. Great way for building a swing if you're a new golfer. I used to ask them to stand to the ball wherever they want, okay? And I want them to try and get the club going over their right shoulder and over their left. Because what they're actually trying to achieve is get the ball from the ground to a target, hopefully going in the air. Yeah. So to do that, they've got to control loft, so the angle of the face. They've got to control the path of the club and the face to that path, and then in turn low point. But to get all those controlled, which ones they could control and couldn't without telling them that they had to control all of them, I would just say, I want you to stand how you want, get the club going over right shoulder, over left shoulder, and if you can come off the right foot as you come through, which means your body is turning, we are on the way to hitting golf shots and getting out on a golf course. So there's some of the variations I used to get, okay? I would get, say, this one. So club's a bit twisted in my hands, feet off to the right, over right shoulder, over left shoulder, ball goes low and really curves off to the left. So now the question is, why is it low and why is it curving off to the left? It's low because they're not controlling loft, they're taking loft off. It's left because their face on that instance was delivered closed left to the path the club swung off. So this lesson now turns into basic golf swing over right shoulder, over left, but we need to think about the way you're holding the club and the way you're standing. So think about the way they're holding the club. They were holding the club with the face twisted, then they would put their thumb, say, right of center pointing down towards the head, right hand on with the left, the thumb off the left side of the club. All good, but from a twisted face. This then helps them deliver the face left of their path with not much loft.
Yeah.
So now their lesson turns into, let's have the face pointing at the target, leading edge, right angle to the line you want the ball to fly along. And I want you to get your top hand with your thumb just down the right of center pointing down in line with that leading edge, so not twisted like they're doing. Yeah. I want the right hand below the left, in the fingers, on top, and then they have that thumb dangling off the left side. Now some would come with some knowledge. You know, they've watched videos and got mates, and they would say, can I interlock my hands? Yeah, if it feels comfortable. Can I overlap that finger? I've been told I should do that. If that feels comfortable. Can I baseball 10 finger grip it? I would say all three of those work. Whatever one feels most comfortable for you. Don't care which one. So then they'll be stood still off to the right, which we'll do with you in a second, and they'll go over right shoulder, over left. Ball starts going in the air because they're presenting loft, but it's still not hitting their target. So what would we do down, say, for their feet?
So I would in this situation, I'd be using the mat. So if you go to a driving range and you're hitting off a mat, try and use the lines to sort of help you line up towards your target.
Yeah.
Another way you can do it is also with another golf club or a tour stick or something along those lines, and you just pop the stick down or pop the club down the line of where you kind of want it to go, or your feet line, and then you would set up into that position trying to get your feet your shoulders and your hips kind of pointing down towards your target.
So it's parallel, isn't it?
Parallel to where you're trying to go.
Tracking stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So think about a train track. Your ball would be sat on the outside, let's say, line of the track, and then your feet would kind of follow the inside line of the track from there.
Variation I used to do on that theme, because I would do similar. Wasn't a big fan of the club, because I like them. I only did real band-aids if they were really bleeding.
Yeah.
So if you give people massive band-aids at the beginning, they're not bleeders, it's a waste of energy, and then they become reliant on them.
Yeah.
So I would like to test them. So I would say the same thing. Use the mat is great, but I would use the mat in another way, because let's establish the mat is pointing at the blue flag.
Yeah.
I would say now I want you to aim at the green flag. So look as you stand behind the angle across the mat that you've got to set yourself at. So you're now using the straight lines of the mat because you're going to try and go against them.
Yeah.
And to me that means people are then learning to aim rather than learning to aim with a mat. It's like a slight variation.
The
because
mat is not going to be on the golf course.
well, and the thing that is on the golf course, which is interesting, is they're often our lines. There are tee markers set
Yeah.
down, but
Yeah.
the greenkeepers kick them about. They're not lining you up in a
Yeah.
particular place. Some tees on a golf course point where the fairway is, but you might want to go to the right side of it because it goes at a better angle, or even cut over a corner, so you have to now go across the
And you hear
line.
it a lot where you get golfers come in and say, "Oh, the tee on the 5th hole was aiming way off to the left."
Yeah.
And actually,
Why did you follow it?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, if you know that, then you need to be skilled at moving. So I like what you're saying there, but I would definitely have a variation with people just to make sure their aims or what have you. So then let's pretend now then, so they've got their glove on, they're ready to swing, they've got their grip, they've got their stance, okay, and their over right shoulder, over left, and the right foot comes up, but they're maybe a low point struggler. Lots of top balls isn't getting up in the air.
Yeah.
Matt?
Yes.
What would you see in low point issues, Matthew?
Generally, ball position being in the wrong place. It can either be too far forward or too far back.
Show me.
So low point is where your club's at the lowest point, working down and then working back up. If your ball position's too far forward, your club's already worked to the low point and then starts to work up, catching the ball either thin or a top. You generally get those two when the ball position's too far forward, and when it's too far back, you hit that, or don't get to your low point too early, top it, then hit your low point after the ball. So there is two variations, but you generally see the fins and the tops when it's too far forward.
So general ball position, what club you got in your
I've
hand?
got 7-iron, so the more loft you want, more sort of in the middle of your stance. Little checkpoints, putting the ball in between your feet, trying to get a line and a gauge in between the two to match them up. If your ball position's over here and your ball position in the middle of your feet's here, you can hopefully see that that's a squiff line.
Yeah, I like that.
In the line. Putting a club on the ground, a spare one, lining it up with it, anything that will help basically. And yeah, making sure that your ball position's in the middle with those irons. It does change depending on the club. Drivers more forward, and the longer the club gets, the more forward it gets.
So really the loft is the thing that's going to dictate.
Gonna be- yeah.
We've got videos on ball position, so maybe check them out. Maybe I'll put a link up in the corner to watch a more in-depth kind of ball position idea video. Cool. What other low point issues do you see, Dan? We've got a posture issue here. So you're saying, let's see your best top, Matt.
Best top.
Oh, it's a swing and a miss. That's a swing and a miss.
Yeah, there we go.
Topping it is a skill.
Yeah.
It's something you got. I'm quite good at topping it because I spent some time practicing it, trying to understand how they do it so much. So what have we got going on with Matt's posture? What are you not liking?
I want to see when I certainly wanted to see him what I call him to the ready position. So here he's kind of sat back in his heels a little bit. He's got way too much flex in his knees, and then that brings his whole top half sort of back here, so he's kind of sat down.
Yeah.
What I want to try and see is take a little bit of flex out of the knees, get him a little bit more over. So a good checkpoint here is to sort of just take a club and make sure that this point of the shoulder is just on the outside of his foot line here, of his tiptoe of his foot.
Like that?
If he kind of sits back to where he was, you can see that it's starting to get a little bit more towards the inside of his foot here, just to get himself a little bit more over. So now he's kind of balanced there. Also from this point at the back here, if you took sort of a line down here, it's not too sat behind his heels. We want to try and get him into this position where it's just a little bit back behind the heels, but not too much.
And where does that feel like the weight's on your feet, Matt?
Right at the bottom of my laces.
Yeah,
Right in the
like
soles
that.
of my
Yeah.
feet. Balls of his feet is really where he's trying to feel that position. And you can see now he's kind of, what I would say is quite an athletic position there, kind of a ready position.
Yeah, over right shoulder, over left. You going to strike that?
And what, yeah, I was just going to add to that as well.
Go on. Oh, strike.
Oh, that is a good shot.
Yeah.
When you see these funny positions as well, is generally people work their weight in the opposite direction to keep their balance, don't they? So I was like this when I was doing my top, and as soon as I swung back I thought, whoa, crikey.
Yeah.
So if you can feel any of those funny things moving around in your swings, just try and make yourself do the opposite to what you're feeling.
So we've now got some kind of hold that controls the face presents loft. We've got some kind of ball position that's going to hopefully help you control some low points. We've got postures that's going to hopefully help you control low points. We're still trying to get over right shoulder, over left shoulder with the right foot coming up on the way through, because that's giving me some body turn. From even the best positions in the world that you could describe, I still saw this for years as teaching beginners. So those kind of movements.
Yeah.
So swing and a miss would have felt like a top. Couldn't control low point because into my rotations with my body I was adding my head is going, right, get that club over your right shoulder, back and over left. So if you're still struggling with low point with that, trying to feel that you're turning more left shoulder down to send club over right shoulder down to come over left shoulder. Now lots of people will describe this as staying in posture. It's actually not true. Your posture's three-dimensional and it's constantly going up, down and around. But that's another video, we'll go down there. Keeping it basic, you want to feel like left shoulder's going down to get your hands over your right shoulder, not on. And then on the way through, right shoulder going down to get your hands over your left shoulder, not on. With all those other bits in tow, you're going to have some kind of basic, neat little golf swing. Now, in all these tips, there's variations. I can show you twisted faces that are presented straight with loft because they put other matchups in there that unbalance or balance those faults out. So this is a basic idea of how to swing and gives you, I think, for accomplished golfers and new golfers, these kind of ideas can help. I go on tour ranges all around the world. They still think of ball position. They still put clubs on the ground to aim. They still think of posture, and they still think of basic ideas over right shoulder, over left. They're just putting extra little twists in there. None of these videos will really kind of substitute a one-to-one lesson. That's where you go. But this is a good basic start in. Hope you get on that range and hit a few better shots, and then go to your pro and say, I'm doing all these things that I think is right. Ball still goes a bit low, goes a bit high, goes a bit right, goes a bit left, and work on that coach to get your golf just where you want it. Thanks for watching. Post comments down below. Let me know if you're a new golfer. Let me know if you're an accomplished golfer and this helped. Thanks, Matt.
No problem.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
See you all soon.